This guy is one of the most skilled soccer players ever, has won a ton of trophies, and is loved by millions. He's basically a soccer prince. But there's a huge problem. He's never won the World Cup, never won the Ballon d'Or. So why is his throne still empty? This is the insane story of a genius caught between being the best in the world and having the worst luck imaginable. This is the story of Neymar Jr. This story starts in the streets of Brazil, where a kid named Neymar was so good with a soccer ball, it was basically a part of his body. His own dad, a former pro, knew he was watching a phenomenon. People were whispering about this kid with impossible balance and a crazy first touch. By the time he joined Santos FC, the same club as the legend Pelé, the whispers were a roar. A two-time World Cup winner literally saw Neymar play and told the club president to sign him. The president said they didn't have an age group for him, and the guy just said, "Then make one." At just 17 years old, this skinny kid with a mohawk starts playing professionally, and he was unreal. He played with so much joy. It was like watching a highlight reel in real life. Rainbow flicks, no-look passes. He wasn't just playing, he was putting on a show. In 2010, he leads his team to a huge victory, scoring 11 goals himself. The next year, he does something crazy. He wins South America's biggest trophy, the first time his club had done that since Pelé. He wins South American Player of the Year twice, and even wins the award for the best goal of the year with a shot that literally looked like a video game glitch. All the biggest teams in Europe wanted him, but he chose Barcelona. He'd beaten South America. Now it was time to take over the entire world. So Neymar gets to Barcelona in 2013, and he's suddenly playing with giants. I'm talking Messi, one of the greatest of all time. So the question was, could Neymar be a superstar next to an even bigger superstar? At first, it was tough. He wasn't the main guy anymore. But he learned and adapted. And then, in 2014, Luis Suarez showed up, and the most insane attacking trio in history was born. Messi, Suarez, and Neymar. MSN! It was a cheat code. In their first season together, they scored a record-breaking 122 goals. 122! They won everything, including the UEFA Champions League, and Neymar even scored in the final. He became the only player in history to score in the final of both the South American and European Championships. The next year, they broke their own record with 131 goals. But here's the problem. No matter what Neymar did, Messi was still the king. This became so obvious during La Remontada in 2017. They were down 4-0 to PSG and needed a miracle. With just minutes left, it looked over. But then, Neymar took over. In the 88th minute, he scores an incredible free kick. 91st minute, he scores a penalty. And in the 95th minute, he sets up the winning goal. He single-handedly won them the game. But the picture that went viral everywhere was Messi celebrating with the fans. Neymar did all the work, but Messi was still the god. If Neymar wanted to wear the crown, he realized he had to leave the palace. So he decided to go to the one city he just destroyed, Paris. In the summer of 2017, the soccer world exploded. PSG did something that seemed impossible and paid Neymar's 222 million euros release clause. That is an insane amount of money. It was the biggest transfer ever and changed the sport forever. For PSG, this was their chance to finally win the Champions League. But for Neymar, this was his big gamble. This was his chance to finally get out of Messi's shadow and become the undisputed best player in the world. The entire team was built around him. The goal wasn't just for PSG to win, it was for him to lead them to glory and finally win the Ballon d'Or. He was building his own empire to sit on his own throne. His arrival was like a coronation. They literally lit up the Eiffel Tower for him. On the field, he was incredible. He was scoring goals, setting up his teammates, and just destroying defenders. He was the main event. But that €222 million price tag was a massive weight on his shoulders. Could he actually do it? Could he deliver the Champions League? Could he finally beat Messi and Ronaldo to become the best player in the world? He had bet everything on himself, but the crown came with some massive problems he never saw coming. And almost immediately, the Parisian dream started to fall apart. It was the same story over and over. Neymar would be playing incredibly, and then bam, a terrible injury. In his very first season, right before the biggest games, he broke his foot. He had to watch his brand new team crash out of the Champions League without him. It was a total nightmare. The next season, you're not going to believe this, another foot injury at almost the exact same time. It was like a curse. His own body was betraying him, and people started blaming his party lifestyle. Internationally, it was even worse. At the 2014 World Cup in his home country of Brazil, he was carrying the whole team until an opponent kneed him in the back and fractured his spine. Without him, Brazil suffered the most embarrassing loss in history, 7-1 to Germany. In the 2018 World Cup, instead of being known for his goals, he became a meme for diving all over the place. Then, in 2020, he was finally healthy, and he dragged PSG all the way to their first ever Champions League final. This was his moment! But in the final, they lost 1-0. Neymar was left crying on the field. The 2022 World Cup felt like his last chance. In the quarterfinal, he scores an absolutely genius goal, tying the legend Pelé as Brazil's all-time top scorer. It should have been the game winner. But then Croatia scored at the last second and won on penalties. And Neymar, who was supposed to take the fifth penalty, never even got to shoot. He was left crying as the dream disappeared again. He eventually did break Pelé's record, becoming Brazil's #1 goal scorer with 79 goals. But the one prize Pelé won 3 times was still missing. It was complete and total heartbreak. So in the summer of 2023, the Paris experiment was officially over. With other stars like Kylian Mbappe and even Messi himself now on the team, the dream of winning the Ballon d'Or there was gone. So he made a shocking decision. He signed for Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. He was given a crazy 9-figure contract, making him insanely rich. But for most people, this felt like he was giving up. He was leaving the biggest stage in soccer. At 31 years old, he was exiting the main stage. It was like he was quietly giving up his crown. But his terrible luck had one last awful surprise. Just a handful of games into his new contract, while playing for Brazil, Neymar went down. It was the worst injury an athlete can get, a torn ACL and meniscus, a catastrophic injury that required major surgery and would keep him out for almost an entire year. Even when he tried to come back in late 2024, he just kept getting more small injuries. His own club had to be extra careful with him, like he was a priceless artifact. The move that was supposed to be his big, final payday turned into another year of pain. So after all of that, how will we remember Neymar? The stats are just crazy. He's Brazil's #1 goal scorer of all time, passing the legend Pelé. He won the Champions League, he won the Copa Libertadores, he scored over 100 goals for 3 different clubs. His highlight reel is just filled with things that don't seem real. He is the prince with a palace full of trophies and a bank account full of gold. He won an Olympic gold medal for Brazil, which was a huge deal for them. He was the hero of one of the greatest comebacks in history. His talent is off the charts. But you can't escape the feeling that he was meant for more. The two biggest prizes in soccer, the World Cup and the Ballon d'Or, he never got them. It's like having a giant trophy room with two empty spots right in the middle. Was moving to PSG a massive mistake? What if his body didn't let him down? What if that shot against Croatia won the game? These are the questions we'll ask forever. He played soccer with a smile and a style that was so much fun to watch. But you don't get the crown for being stylish, you get it for winning everything. Neymar is the super-rich, dazzling prince of soccer. But he's a prince who never got to be the king of the world. His reign is amazing, but it just feels incomplete. But that's what I think. I want to know what you think. Is Neymar's career a story of what could have been, or is he one of the greatest ever no matter what? Let me know in the comments right now. And if you enjoyed this incredible story, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next one.